What's going on, my fellow YouTube subscribers, my friends, family, YouTube family, my fellow Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, the whole 9 yards. What's going on? Back on here once again to share more information and keep y'all enlightened, keep y'all posted up, revelation, etc. And I guess first off, I'm gonna start off with America's regrettable mistake and unrecoverable mistake. And a regrettable and unrecoverable mistake is going to war with Iran. And I already made a point and emphasized on here with my video, Genuine Prophecy, War with Iran is Suicide. Now, of course, Obama is under a great deal of pressure. He is under an extremely great amount of pressure because he don't want to go to war with Iran, but he don't want to make it seem like he allies with Iran by not going to war with Iran and making Israel question whether or not Obama is for them or not. So that's what a pressure is. He's like, hey, I don't want to do this, but now the Israelis thinking that, you know, maybe I'm allies with the Palestinians or maybe I'm not allies with them. Obama is trying to be neutral on this. He's trying to walk a tightrope, just like he's been doing his entire I'm getting tangled here. His entire term. That's what he's been trying to do, is walk a tightrope, walk in neutral, not trying to be too far left or too far right. So that's why he's been kind of in the middle. So that what Obama is facing as far as him being under pressure. Now the other thing is not only that, but of course going to war with Iran, like I said, Iran allies is Russia and China. And I just watched a few clips on here how I think the Russian Secretary of Defense or President, one or two, was saying that if Iran goes to war, Russia goes to war. And he's basically saying that they're ready to defend anybody who come against the Iranians. So that right there, and then of course by Russia and China being allies, if Russia goes to war, China goes to war. So it is a link, and indeed it'll be World War One or America pretty much against the West, because just finding out that Syria is also allies with Iran. So if America goes to war with Iran, this country would be basically warring against the entire East almost, warring against mostly all Asia, so to speak. So almost all Asia. So that's just something, to take into consideration, that this country is definitely not prepared for it, not just not prepared for it, but shouldn't go into none whatsoever. It's a major risk, and it's going to be a major catastrophe, and there's no turning back once this country decides to try to initiate a war with Iran. There's no turning back. It's do or die. It's either wipe Iran off the map or Iran going to wipe America off the map. But Iran is not going to get wiped off the map because Russia and China is going to back them up, and Syria, and Korea. And, yeah, yeah. So the best decision, the best bet would be leave them alone. Don't get involved. See, what the Iranian president is looking at is, if we wipe America off the map, we get them out the way, and the beef stay between us and Israel. Because that's what, antagonized the Iranian president, is America's meddling. That's why he made that threat. He said, one more time America has to meddle. One more time America has to meddle in Mid-East, associations. And that's what he's getting aggravated at. He's like, look, I don't have nothing against America. It's mainly us and Israel. But since America keep nitpicking and getting involved and getting in the way, this was making me have something against this country. And this was making me want to war with this country, or get them out the way, as far as, from his mentality. Is getting them out the way so we can focus on who our real enemy are, or who our real enemy is, and who we're really trying to focus on, which is Israel. So by America constantly melting and constantly getting in the mix, yeah, that will make Iran want to blow America off the map and say, hey, we got rid of them, get them out the way. We ain't got to worry about them no more. They don't exist no more. Now back to us and Iran. I mean, us and Israel. As far as the Iranian president and Benjamin Netanyahu. So this something to share on that end. So the major advice, and I already gave it in my last video segment. This country goes to war with Iran, it's over with for America. Just point blank, this country is over. It's finished. I mean, it's already struggling and standing on its last leg now. So to go to war with Iran will finish America off. They'll completely finish America off. I mean, here's another point. Like, you got the troops already battled in, like I said, I was already in Afghan for 8 years, a little bit over 8 years, and a majority of them came back home. Then you got the battle that took place in Iraq. I mean, Afghan and Iraq pretty much at the same time. So fighting two wars at one, are really trying to bully and take over the oil plants over there 2 times at one, or being 2 places at one, as far as trying to take over the oil plants. Then when Gaddafi comes along and he, his people and Gaddafi over in Libya, he's got a lot of wealth because he's been contributing to the Nation of Islam. And them finding out about that, how much wealth he has and how much he can contributed to the Nation of Islam, they decide, oh, we got to go over here and use that same lie that they used in Iraq and Afghan, is we got to establish a democracy. So they go over here, not trying to establish a democracy, but trying to take his wealth and take his oil in his land, or try to, establish a military base over in Libya so they can control the oil and the wealth over there, and not the people, but the resources. So it's not, going over there to establish democracy, it's going over there to control the resources as far as in Libya. So the troops wore out from Libya. The troops wore out from Afghan and Iraq. They tired of being over there for over 8 years. They just got back home, or majority of them, rested from all the years over in Afghan and Iraq, and probably the almost a year over in Libya. And now they declaring to go to war again. As far as the Republicans, they figured, hey, we shouldn't back down from a threat. The Iranian president made a threat, so we should go take care of business. Obama, on the other hand, is trying to play this out with diplomatic solutions. Let's negotiate, which is smart, because seeing the alliance that this one president has, he has the support of the UN, and he has the support of Russia, China, Korea, Syria, and soon to be Iraq and Afghan. But since his military presence over there, I don't think they want to take that chance or that risk right now, because they will get exposed because of the journalists over there and some members of the CIA and the military bases. So they don't want to take that risk. So diplomatic solutions will be the best out, and that's the approach Obama want to take. But at the same time, Obama don't want to seem like he's being evasive and being allies with Israel. But here's the thing. Israel is planning and plotting an attack to strike Iran first. Now, there hasn't been a war. There actually has been 2 years of peace, because it's been 2 years of negotiating. So that ceasefire that is in place now, that's pretty much what it is. The ceasefire has been in place for about 2 years, because during the ceasefire, when the Israelis did a strike on Hamas, and that was the last, I think, war or strike that Israel had took place in, as far as the attacks on Hamas. So when the ceasefire took place, and now it's been almost 2 years, that right there, of course, during the ceasefire was trying to come up with diplomatic solutions. So that's where the negotiations was trying to take place. And mainly a lot of negotiations was trying to take place in the UN as far as the diplomatic solution between the Palestinians and the so-called Israelis. Well, yeah, the Israelis, because there's a difference between Israelites and Israelis, just the same way as the difference between Jews and Jewish. But that's a whole nother topic. So, but yeah, so during the 2 years of the ceasefire, they trying to come up with diplomatic solutions, but apparently cannot because of the states. It's around the tip of my tongue here. The borders. I can't think of it, but yeah, mainly they couldn't come up with a resolution because of the argument of the borders over in the Middle East. How the Zionist Jewish people trying to keep their borders, and the Palestinians believe that they should have the equal amount of borders that the Israelis have. So it's like if the Israelis have a state of their own, we should have a state of our own. But in order to have a state of our own, we have to extend our territory a little more than what we have. So because of that issue and that debate as far as with the borders and the states, that right there, of course, created a problem in between the created a problem with the Zionist Jews or the Israelis. And the problem with the Israelis is if we allow them to have more territory, more of their territory will kind of invade, or not invade, but intrude in our territory, thus leaving us not having the advantage or the sovereignty over the Palestinians. So that's the reason the Israelis refuse to extend or allow them to have more territory, or allow their borders to stretch a little further as far as with the Palestinians, because the Israelis feared that they would lose their sovereignty over the Iranians or over the Palestinians. So this is why there was not a peace agreement, and this is the reason why no peace treaty was established or signed, because the Palestinians looked at it, well, hey, since we can't get a state like the Israelis, and we can't have as many we can't have as much territory as the Israelis, then screw a peace treaty, you still our enemy. So now, because the ceasefire is finna no longer be ceasefire, that's the reason, if y'all notice, Israel and the Palestinians have not shot a missile at each other in almost 2 years because of the ceasefire. And the ceasefires was due to negotiations, like I said, diplomatic discussions. So here's the thing, right? Here's what's going to happen now. Israel indeed is planning an attack, because Israel, just as the Iranians or the Iranian president or the Palestinians in general want Israel off the map, Israel, or the state of Israel, not the Israelites, and my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, y'all know what I mean when I say Israel. Now when I say Israelites, you know, I'm referring to us. But yeah, but the state of Israel thinks the same about the Palestinians. They want to wipe the Palestinians off the map. So I guess this is preemptive attack or a preemptive strike on the part of Israel. Hit them before they hit us. A preemptive attack. So this is what Israel is preparing to do, is take a preemptive attack towards the Iranians, which is going to void and cause the ceasefire to become null and void. And they're going to start back one again and going at it. What Obama should do, here's my suggestion, sir, and I'm going to read something, how history repeats itself, because the ancient Israel, which is the ancestors of the Native Americans and blacks in this country, and the scattered people, the scattered true Israel, the lost sheep that took place in the transatlantic slave trade, here is a repeat of the history, or I want to read the history in the past about the similarities of what's going on today with the fake Israelis and Jews, etc. But hey, I'm expressing my First Amendment right here. So and I'm not using it to express lies, but truth. I'm gonna read that and show y'all something shortly. But getting back to the main theme here. Okay, now my advice or suggestion to Obama, which he has no choice, and I'm finna show y'all something on this, to stay back. And Obama is trying to stay back, but he can't. Even if Obama tries to throw the election, or Obama's try to purposely say something to do something and to, try not to get reelected again, he can't. He's stuck. There's no way out for Obama. There's no way out. I'm going to show you how. Almost every Republican candidate that's trying to be the nominee to go against Obama, except Ron Paul, wants to go to war with Iran. Wants to go to war with Iran except Ron Paul. Because of the fear of going to war with Iran, because a lot of American citizens here kind of know and kind of understand the consequence, and some of them don't. But I say the majority that do know that the consequence of going to Iran means the obliteration of America. Fears that if we allow a Republican to be president, we are going to go to war with Iran and we going to lose our country and our lives. And not just lose the country as far as lose it as civilization, culture, stuff like that. But no, lose the country as the country will become a wasteland, or the country would become ancient ruins, so to speak, like the original Roman Empire. America will be ruins, and you will have archaeologists over here and anthropologists over here studying about the civilization and society of the people in this country, because America will become a ancient artifact if this country goes to war with Iran, which it is going to go to war with Iran. And I'm going to show you how when I get ready to read here, because this is the punishment that God has planned. He has planned and prepared for this country. This is the punishment, and it's going to happen. It ain't going to be no, it ain't going to happen, and we can know. It's going to happen. And, I read on here, I mean, not read, but I watched a couple of videos how the Iranians have dug a whole lot of graves for the American troops over in their country, and how you got a lot of FEMA coffins over here. Well, I guess we might as well start digging our own graves too, because it's just that serious, people. It is just that serious. It's not no going in and coming out in Iran. Okay, let me level down. Level down here. I said because of the fear of a majority of all the Republican candidates want to go to war with Iran, and like I said, majority of American citizens pretty much know the consequences. Like I said, some don't, but a majority do. That fear is going to cause people to re-elect Obama, because they know Obama doesn't want to go to war with Iran, but he's forced to. He's under pressure to. Obama want to take the diplomatic strategy instead of the bully strategy. So because he, trying to take the path of peace instead of the path of strife, and the Republicans are trying to go on a path of strife, that's going to cause people to want to re-elect Obama for their own safety instead of for their own personal opinion, or for their for as far as with values or perspective. People are going to re-elect or vote for Obama for safety, because of the Republicans, and what they talking about is risky and dangerous, and is going to result, like I said, in the elimination of this country. So people would figure that, hey, even though I don't like Obama, not speaking from my perspective, but speaking from in general, radical racists, etc., people would think, even though I don't like Obama, I think re-electing Obama would be the safe path or the safe way, or the safe choice instead of picking a Republican who is trying to pretty much run us off the cliff and going to war with Iran. So that right there. So because all of them want a war and Obama don't, everybody gonna try to jump on his bandwagon for their safety. But it ain't gonna work because, I mean, as far as with Obama, like I said, trying to do something to get out, he can't get out because then the Israelis gonna look at it all. He trying to get out and being allies, and I thought he was for change, and I thought he wanted to make a difference. They're gonna try to use all his promotions against him, and but it's just so much pressure, as far as on his end, as far as whether to go to war with Iran or not. It's so much pressure on Obama. I mean, he's getting a quadruple head of gray hairs right now because this is something that's, it's huge. It's something that's huge, and it's the biggest thing, America has ever came across in history. It's the biggest decision any president in this country has came across. Out of all, for the past 43 presidents, this is the biggest decision any president has ever came across. Because the domino effect is going to take place if one with Iran, like I said, Russia, China, and it's going to get ugly, folks. It's going to get extremely ugly. It's not going to be like Iraq where, they over there in Iraq and they won and bombed and we all over here sitting watching the football game and the women getting their hair did and their nails done thinking nothing of it. No. This country goes to war with Iran, America is going to feel the impact. This whole entire country is going to feel the impact of that war. Literally feel the impact. Because it, like I said, it's got a lot of Muslim Americans over here, and this country trying to go to war basically with the entire East, pretty much, with trying to go to war with one country, which is Iran, and people here gonna start a war within and figure out they trying to attack our country, where we from, and they gonna try to war from within right here. Those who from the Middle East that's living over here as citizens. So it's so much, so much. But anywho, going to the scriptures here. 1 Kings chapter 22. This is Micaiah prophesies against Arab. 22:1, it says, for 3 years there was no war between Aram and Israel. For 3 years there was no war between Aram and Israel. It said, but in the 3rd year, Jehoshaphat, king of Israel, had said to his officials, don't you know that Ramoth Gilead belongs to us, and yet we are doing nothing to retake it from the king of Aram? So here it is. It's been peace between Israel and Aram for 3 years. And now the king of Israel all of a sudden wants to go to war with people who are not bothering them, who not messing with them. It's peace. So, just wanted to read that. I mean, you can read the whole chapter for yourself. Now, it says in verse 4, so he asked Jehoshaphat, will you go with me to fight against Ramoth Gilead? Jehoshaphat replied to the king of Israel, I am as you are, my people, and as your people. My horses as your horses. But Jehoshaphat also said to the king of Israel, first seek the counsel of the Lord. And then this is the one I put an asterisk by. And I ain't going to read the whole chapter, but read the ones that stand out. So the king of Israel brought together the prophets, about 400 men, and asked them, shall I go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or shall I refrain? This is the question right now. This Obama is being asked, and Obama asking the Secretary of Defense and War General, but mainly it's Obama that's being asked that question. Will he go to war with Iran or not? And Benjamin Netanyahu is being asked the same question. History repeating itself. It says, so the king Israel brought together prophets, about 400 men, and asked them, shall I go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or shall I refrain? Go, they answered, for the Lord will give it into the king's hands. But Jehoshaphat asked, is there not a prophet of the Lord here whom we can inquire of? And this is when they come to Micaiah. Micaiah is the prophet that tells it like it is, regardless if it's something he want to hear or not. And he don't like Micaiah because he said he never prophesied anything good about me. So these other prophets, or probably so-called prophets, are lying to him. Lying to Ahab to make him feel good. It said, the king of Israel answered Jehoshaphat, there is still one man through whom we can inquire of the Lord, but I hate him, because he never prophesies anything good about me, but always bad. He is Micaiah, son of Imlah. Now, you see, he don't like him because he telling them the truth. Telling them like it is. And, you know, people who do wicked and they consult people about their wicked ways, well, they don't, literally consult people about their wicked ways, but ask their opinion about something. The one who has a pure heart is going to be pure with them. I'm going to give it to you raw and pure. I'm not going to give it to you seasoned, where I'm trying to dilute the true taste of what it is. No, I'm going to give you the actual taste of what you really tasting. I'm not going to dilute it. And a lot of people don't like people like that that's going to tell them to them like it is. Tell them about themselves like it is. They're not going to try to put some sugar on it. They're going to actually give it to them raw, untouched. And you got some who try to flatter people and sugar it up and throw some sprinkles and a cherry on top. Trying to put it on a pile of crap. But anywho, so, just, summarizing it and reading the scriptures I put out of respect, they pretty much saw Micaiah, so Micaiah's finna get ready to prophesy. Verse 12, all the other prophets were prophesying the same thing. Attack Ramoth Gilead and be victorious, they said, for the Lord will give it into the king's hands. Now, this is what's going on in Congress right now. You got a lot of congressmen, as far as in the Republican Party, prophesying that it should be a success when they war against Iran. If we war against Iran, we should be victorious. It should be a success. But it would not be a success. It would be a disaster and a nightmare. But some of the senators, there's Republicans saying it's going to be a success. And you got quite a few Democrats thinking the same thing. It might be a success. Here it is, right? The 400 that's prophesying. Yeah, we're going to be victorious. We're going to be a success. Now, the messenger who had gone to summon Micaiah, the one who's going to tell it like it is, said to him, look, as one man, the other prophets are predicting success for the king. Let your word agree with theirs and speak favorably. Now, here it is. The messenger told Micaiah, let your word agree with theirs. In other words, don't let your words be God's words where you tell them the truth or tell them like it is. Let your word agree with theirs. So you want me to lie to him, right? See, they flattering him. So they won't get punished. See, he don't like hearing the truth. He like hearing stuff that make him feel good. But see, that's why he don't like Micaiah, because Micaiah gonna say it like it is. Whether it make him feel good or make him feel bad, he gonna tell him like it is. It said, but Micaiah said, as surely as the Lord lives, I can tell him only what the Lord tells me. I'm not going to tell him something to flatter him. I'm going to tell him what God tells me to tell him. So when he arrived, the king asked him, Micaiah, shall we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or shall I refrain? Attack and be victorious, he answered, for the Lord will give it into the king's hands. Now this is what God told Micaiah to tell the king. This is not the actual truth, but this is what he was told to tell him. Not the actual truth, but later on Micaiah finna tell him the truth, and I marked it. So then the king said to him, how many times must I make you swear to tell me nothing but the truth? in the name of the Lord. But earlier, Ahab, you said you didn't like him because he never tells you what you want to hear. And because he never tells you what you want to hear, you don't like him. Let's move on. Now, Micaiah finna tell it to him like it is. Now, a person may debate and dispute say, well, Micaiah lied to him the first time. Micaiah finna explain to him why he told him what he told him. He didn't lie. He was following commandments. Then Micaiah answered, I saw all Israel scattered on the hills like sheep without a shepherd. And the Lord said, these people have no master. Let each one go home in peace. Now he telling him the history of what he done to his people. He don't want to hear that. The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, didn't I tell you that he never prophesies anything good about me, but only bad? See, he don't want to hear that. But he just asked him in verse 16, the king said to him, how many times must I make you swear to tell me nothing but the truth? So now Micaiah told him the truth about his actions of what he did to his people. And now all of a sudden, he's saying to Jehoshaphat, who next in line to be the king, didn't I tell you that he never prophesies anything good about me? You just told him to tell the truth. Now you told it. Now I don't want to hear that. You know, didn't I say he got... Make up your mind. Let's go on. I'm finna read this last little paragraph and sum it up. It says, but Micaiah continued. Now Micaiah finna explain the true prophecy of Ahab and what's going to happen and why he told him what he told him. Micaiah continued, therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the hosts of heaven standing around him on his right and on his left. And the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth Gilead and going to his death there? Who will go and entice Obama to attack Iran and go into his death there? He don't say that, but I'm doing a comparison. Who will entice him and going to war and going to his death? Who's going to entice him? Well, apparently the Republicans are trying to entice him, but they're going to try to do it by force, by threatening him. It says, one suggested this and another that. Finally, a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. By what means, the Lord asked? I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouths of all his prophets. So, in the prophets of Ahab, this is the impression that they received from the spirit that was from God or from Christ. So they was prophesying by spirit, but they was prophesying what he wanted them to tell him. Not prophesying the actual truth or what it's going to be, but tell them what I want you to tell them. And what I want you to tell them is he going to be victorious. I don't want you to tell them the truth. I want you to tell them a lie. So the prophecy can be fulfilled in him going to his death. Let's keep going. It said, you will succeed in enticing him, said the Lord. Go and do it. So now the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouths of all these prophets of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you. Now Micaiah has told Ahab the truth, saying this is the real truth of what's happening. These prophets have lying spirits because they are going off the impression of what's being revealed to them, that you shall attack and be victorious. But they don't actually know that you finna go to your death. They thinking from the spirit what's being revealed to them is that you finna be victorious. But Micaiah is telling them the actual truth, that what I said to you was the same spirit that was put in me, that was put in them to say to you. But also I have the whole truth. I have the whole revelation of what's really going to happen. But I was only saying what I was commanded to say. But now I'm giving you the whole full detail of what's really going on, what's really finna happen. So that's why Micaiah explained to him why he told him or made that statement, attack and be victorious. It said, then Zechariah, son of Kenah, went up and slapped Micaiah in the face. Which way did the spirit, it said, which way did the spirit from the Lord go when he went from me to speak to you? He asked. Meaning after he slapped him. Micaiah replied, you will find out on the day you will go hide in the inner room. The king of Israel then ordered, take Micaiah and send him back to Amon, the ruler of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, this is what the king says. Put this fellow in prison and give him nothing but bread and water until I return safely. Micaiah declared, if you ever return safely, the Lord has not spoken through me. Then he added, mark my words, all you people. Now, when he said the Lord has not spoken through me, when he made that statement, if you ever return safely. In other words, he was speaking out his own opinion when he made that statement. I know this one a little more lengthy, but it's a little more information. So mainly in 1 Kings chapter 22, it is a repeat. The king of Israel, which was Ahab at the time, is under the impression that if he goes to war with Gilead or against Ramoth of Gilead, that he will be successful. But apparently there is a great power that the king of Israel or Ahab is blind to. There's a great power that the people he trying to go to war against have that he does not recognize. And that's why his prophets prophesied, and also Micaiah, go right ahead. Go ahead, go to war with him. Yeah, you're going to be victorious, yeah. But then Micaiah just told him like it is, no, you're not going to be victorious. You ain't going to return. I'm just telling you what God told me to tell you. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth. But he still got upset. Now, Ahab wanted the truth. Micaiah told Ahab the truth. Now, Ahab still threw him in prison after wanting him to tell him the truth. In verse 16, he says, the king said to him, how many times must I make you swear to me and tell me nothing but the truth in the name of the Lord? So when he tells him the truth, he can't handle it. He shuns him away. So basically what I'm saying is, I'm being Micaiah right now. I'm being Micaiah saying that Obama, America, do not go to war with Iran. If you go to war with Iran, America will meet its doom. This country will meet her doom. It will be over. But if it's God's will, and more than likely this is God's will, because I'm sure the Secretary of Defense and the War General and Obama got enough common sense to realize if we go to war with Iran, we not only go to war with Iran, but we also war with Russia, and we also war with China, and we also war with Korea, and we also war with Syria. I'm sure they got enough sense. But apparently because of the spirit, these lying spirits that's taking place in Congress, like what took place with Ahab in the council of Ahab with his 400 prophets, apparently there are some lying spirits that's in Congress right now. They're saying that we shall be victorious. We shall be successful. But those are lying spirits to lead this country to its death. So as you can see, the Father is doing a repeat of history. The same spirit that was put in the 400 prophets of Ahab is now in Congress in America today. Those same spirits, and those same spirits are lying spirits saying that we should be victorious if we go against Iran. But I'm being Micaiah, folks. I'm being the prophet that's going to tell it like it is. I'm the prophet that's hated by those who practice wickedness. Because I'm the one that's going to tell it like it is. He war with Iran. It is over for America. Now, peace be unto you in Christ for life.